So
if there's three behaviors that will absolutely kill anyone's success, and that is blame, excuses, and denial. Blaming someone else, having an excuse as to why, or denying that it even went wrong. That will kill your success fast. If you want it fast, you got to take ownership.
welcome back to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Shahid Durrani, the show where we dive into the minds of high-performing, high-net entrepreneurs, innovators, world-class leaders. If you're someone who's always looking to grow, push limits, and think and do bigger, you're in the right place. Today, I'm honored to welcome a true legend in the business coaching world, Brad Sugars. Brad is the founder and chairman of ActionCOACH, the world's largest business coaching franchise with offices in over 80 countries. Brad has helped thousands of individuals, business owners, scale and systemize their companies. And he's also the author of 18 powerful books, including Billionaire and Training, The Wealth Coach, and Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. Welcome to our show, Brad.
Shahid, wonderful to be here. I feel like I've made it now. I've succeeded in the world. I've made it to your podcast.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. That's awesome, Brad. You have done amazing work, amazing feats of success that you have experienced, and that's what your podcast talks about as well. You have to help thousands of entrepreneurs all over the world. But
yeah, I think
we go back?
We just did some statistics, and from ActionCOACH, we've had just over 280,000 business owners that we've coached. Like hundreds of thousands more through our training programs. But yeah, over the 31 years we've been doing this, and $2.5 billion in revenue, and yeah. So we were the original gangsters of this whole thing called business coaching, I guess.
So you probably were really young when you started, right? Because
are you saying I still look young?
You're
Thank
young,
you, buddy. Thank you. Yes, I was in my early 20s when I started speaking. I was attending events, and Rob Kiyosaki, who was running back then the Money and You programs with DC Cordova, asked me to come speak in Hawaii, and I fell in love with speaking. And here we are today, 31 years later.
Okay, can you give us a quick tip, a go-to tip for speaking in public?
Tell stories. I always say that a great speech has anywhere from 3 to 7 main points. If you try and do more than 7 points, you need a workshop and a full day. But if you're doing a speech, you want 3 to 7 main points, and you want to tell a story about each point. Like you should have 1 slide per point, 1 story per point, or even 2 stories per point. But the stories is what makes a great speech, because people can relate to the stories.
Yeah, the stories amplify the message, and also you're connecting more on a subconscious level for them to even remember the education.
Yeah, look, now we're getting into teaching semantics. When you look at the algorithms behind teaching, you got the micro, the macro, and the common ground. The micro being the tiny part of the lesson, the macro, the big picture. If I was teaching the concept of leverage, which I define as do the work once, get paid forever. So I hit the big concept, and then I'll talk about the micro. I'll give you an example of a business. An employee's work is do the work once, get paid once. A manager's work is do the work once, get paid long term. An owner's work is do the work once, get paid forever. And then I'd go into a story like, how Steve Jobs started Apple with do the work once, get paid once. They made a computer once, they could only sell it once. And then he went into the music business where Jobs is even smarter than me. He was do the work, never get paid forever. Like they never made a song, yet they still get 30 or 40 cents on the dollar for every piece of music that's through their system. I think teaching is something that I fell in love with. And so I had to learn how to be good at it if I was going to do it.
Yeah, no. Can you share your first business experience, and if there was any unexpected lessons that you learned?
Actually, I'll go to one that had a definite unexpected lesson. It was a pizza business. Myself and my buddy Joe, we manufactured and
You still
wholesale
talk to
fresh
Joe?
pizza. Oh yeah, he actually visited
Okay,
my
cool.
house a few weeks back. He's now in the coffee
Awesome.
business.
All right.
A
Say
few
hi
months
to him.
back, sorry. He's still based in Brisbane, Australia. I'm here in Vegas. He came for a visit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But we were manufacturing and wholesaling pizzas, and we'd fresh seal them and sell them to the supermarkets. And one of our competitors did something wrong, and all of a sudden our entire category is wiped out. The supermarkets just started making the pizzas themselves fresh and selling it themselves in their bakeries. It was like, thank goodness that in the kitchen that we used, we also had another company that rented it overnight to bake cookies. So we didn't go bankrupt, but we lost the business. And it showed you the thing that sometimes other things will just crush it. You've got no say in what the market does at times. But, we regrouped. And the thing that you'll always have to remember, you never lose the learning and the skills.
No.
So you may lose the money or the business or the assets, but you never, ever lose the knowledge and the skills. And that's why I think I have 5 kids, and I always teach them that first thing you got to get is knowledge and skills. Don't go and get a job that pays more. Go and get a job where you learn more.
Learn more. Good point.
That's the biggest
thing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing. And that's why when you actually take action, you do business, you're not losing, even if you lose, for example, traditionally, the knowledge, the experience, it is promising for your future because the stuff that you learn from
the lesson, buddy. As long as you do take the lesson and don't be pig-headed about it and think, oh, it wasn't my fault. It was everyone else's fault.
The government or
it's the tariffs. It's the tariffs.
Or it's Joe.
Oh, man. So if there's 3 behaviors that will absolutely kill anyone's success, and that is blame, excuses, and denial. Blaming someone else, having an excuse as to why, or denying that it even went wrong. That will kill your success fast. If you want it fast, you got to take ownership, take accountability, and be responsible. I literally have thousands of ideas, and this is the thing. I watch those TV shows like Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, and people think it's the idea that you get invested in. I invest in the people rather than the idea. In those cases, like I invested in this young couple that had a catering business, and now they run 2 restaurants, gaming machines, a brewery, plus the catering business, the food trucks, alcohol trucks, all those sorts of things, because I saw a young couple that were go-getters. And this is what drives me crazy. People say young people just don't want to work. And that's like absolute rubbish. You've just got to find the ones that do. But it's no different to every other generation where there was 80% don't want to do stuff and 20% that do. So find the 20% that do, invest in them. But if I went to a business idea that I never acted on, in Australia and New Zealand, this is a weird business. In Australia and New Zealand, they have a business called pink bins, which is trash cans with chemicals in them in the ladies' bathroom for ladies' tampons and products.
Okay.
Instead of just flushing them. And so they made it. And I looked at that business, bringing it to America, and I thought this would crush in America. It just really would. But just had too many other things going on and didn't bring it across. It's still an opportunity today. No one's done it yet to date.
Wow.
So
well, they would give some idea to someone.
Yeah, look, I was going to do it as a female business, going to bring in several female partners. So it could be a majority women-owned business, all women employees, like that would have got grants and all of that sort of thing.
So we can just say publicly now that if you want to come and pitch
anyone who wants to do it, go do it.
Yeah, Brad is here for you. You'll come, just bring your idea or your go-getting attitude. More
you got to bring the people, buddy.
Promising.
That's the thing. Shahid, you've got to bring the people. Like every time I go to look at investing in everything and people want to pitch me the idea, and I hang on, before you even get to the idea, tell me about the team. Who are the people behind this thing? Are they people who've succeeded at something?
So that's why
people who are willing to learn. Are they willing to
that's
be
why
mentor?
That's why you're gonna invest in this show, right? Super entrepreneur.
Buddy, I already run 7 podcasts. I don't think I need another one.
8th one.
Actually, I'm starting an 8th one with my daughter, and it's called My Rich Uncle.
Oh, beautiful.
So my daughter is going to do that with me. It's going to be like 7 minutes.
How old is she?
She's 22. So she's going to be the producer of that podcast. And
wonderful.
We're just going to do it because there's a lot of kids out there that just need to have a rich uncle, someone they can go to and listen to and learn from and teaches it in their language.
It's a good concept.
Yeah, having 5 kids, I know that teaching, there's that period between about 14 and 21 where your kids think you're dumb. And then magically at 21-ish, they start to learn that, hey, you're not actually that dumb. I think it's when their friends go, damn, your dad's stuff is really good. And then the kids go, oh, maybe
there is a stage, right?
Oh,
I'm in
100%.
that stage right now. So
we all go through it. We went through it. Dude, I remember when I went into, oh my God, my dad's actually not that dumb. He's actually pretty damn smart.
I remember that realization too. And there's for other people as well, like for example, or even your mom as well, right? That, you just have this resistance as a specific time frame of your life. I think it's all the hormones, but that's good. I love the way
it's 3 phases. Phase 1 is where they care about what their parents think. Phase 2 is where they care about what their friends think. And phase 3 is where they think for themselves. The problem is most people never get to phase 3. So raising good kids is through getting them through phase 2 so fast, and that's where you have to use a lot of questions with kids so that they do learn to think for themselves. Yeah. And especially boys.
We do
right now, boys, it's very important because the schooling system is, and this is something that's controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. The schooling system is brilliantly designed for girls. Why are we seeing young men leaning towards the right in political worlds? Because they're being pushed there. They're being told that they're bad in school, that they're aggressive thinking and that this is all bad and you can't be a boy and you can't be masculine. You've got to be this and you got to do that. You can't. So we've really, as parents, got to watch our boys right now because we're seeing more and more boys at a young age taking their own lives. And we've got to be really strong as parents, as entrepreneurs, as concerned citizens, that our boys definitely do get taken care of. The pendulum swings. And right now we're at a point where we got to watch them boys. I have 4 daughters, so I got to watch them too. But it's one of those things. I just think being a good parent is really about learning and studying how to be a good parent too. You got to read the books from other parents who've gone before you.
Yeah, no, definitely. So
we should get on to some entrepreneurial stuff too, shouldn't we? We should probably talk
about that. That's the thing. We've got an organic show here. We'll see how we can bring out information that can help people from all angles because business is business, but it's part of life. When people are in business, your business becomes your life, and you need to have all aspects of being of it. Yeah. I know it's a great conversation. I love your energy, by the way. I'm enjoying this conversation, and I noticed that you bought and scaled and sold dozens of companies. Yeah. Can you share a specific mistake that could potentially an entrepreneur could make, even if he's seasoned when scaling a business? I think that so scaling a business, let's get down to what that really is. See, where I started in business, Shahid, I would buy broken companies and fix them. That's where I started. What I realized over time is that I didn't have enough time to do that. So what I needed to look at, and someone gave me some great advice. They said, Brad, as you get older, invest in younger people. Because like I'm now 53, if I'm investing in 20 and 30 somethings now, when I'm in my 60s and 70s, they're in their prime in their 40s and 50s. So it's a great thing. So what I started looking for was companies, and because I have ActionCOACH and we have literally about 18,000 one-on-one clients right now, hundreds of thousands of customers in our training programs. Because I have that, I get exposed to a lot of businesses. So what I look for is companies that are really great, but in a singular location. So I'll give you a simple example of one property management business. So if you're an investor and you had real estate and you wanted someone to manage it, they would be the property manager. And they're brilliant in one city, in Houston, Texas. So then it was like, okay, how do we put this in how many cities across America? So we sit down. I'm an X times Y guy. So here's a business doing $3 million a year in Houston, Texas. How many cities do I want to put that in? So we do the research and we worked out how many cities could justify this size business. And we worked out that across America, there was 183 cities where we could justify putting this business into that. So then we look at the business model and we go, do we want to license it? Do we want to franchise it? Do we want to fund it ourselves? Do we want a capital raise? How do we want to do that whole process? So then, and that's where your strategy is important. Strategy is really about the business model. And most people are too involved in the product or the service to think about the model. The model is where most business success or failure actually comes from. So if I choose franchising and it's the wrong model, then I've gone down the wrong. If I choose rental business and it's the wrong model, but
if I choose a model that is not, and there's 4 parts to strategy. Number 1, leverage. As I mentioned earlier, do the work once, get paid forever. How do I get a customer once, they stay forever? Subscription-based, that sort of thing. Number 2 is what we call scalability. And scalability is essentially my definition is that the next sale costs less and is easier. So the next sale's got to cost less and it's got to get easier as we get bigger. 3 and 4 then look at the product and service, and that is opportunity size and marketability. Opportunity size, you can do research everywhere in the world, but like these days, I'm not going into a business that isn't a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, because even if I get 10% of it, I'm in the hundreds, if that makes sense. So from a time allocation perspective and resource allocation, we want to have a business that can go into the hundreds. And marketability means the product or service sells itself. Like I just sold my share in my commercial cleaning business, but why did I go into commercial cleaning? I don't need to convince you to clean your business. I just have to convince you to use us instead of someone else. I like selling things where people are already looking to buy. I'm currently looking at a pest control business. Why pest control? You can't beat me on the internet, and everyone knows they need pest control, especially here in my city of Las Vegas. Scorpions and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Go do that. People don't want scorpions. They don't want bugs.
No.
So
they want to go near it.
If you think about the mistake an entrepreneur would make in scaling, number 1, they don't find a business that's already got good systems and things. Ray Kroc found McDonald's. They were already there, ready to go. The quick service system was so good that when the McDonald brothers sold Taco Bell and Burger King the quick service system, they've still used that exact same system and gone on to be massive companies as well. So if you find a great business and then work out, do your research, how many cities, do your modeling, how are we going to open in each of those cities, and then work your scale marketing and scale employment, because when you're scaling, you've got to have systems. And this is my whole book, Pulling Profits Out of a Hat, the 5 disciplines of scale or exponential growth. When you go to scale, recruiting becomes massively important. Training becomes massively important. Because if I'm opening 5 locations a month or 5 locations a year or 2 cities, like for ActionCOACH, we open 4 countries a year. So our systems to open a country are as strong as most people's systems to open their doors for the day. That's the level of thinking in scale. You've got to get it where there's the opening of a new office is a launch, is an opening. Your launch marketing, I think, we just had a big event in the UK, BizX, and Daniel Priestley, who you talk about being the original. My God, Daniel's up there. He's crushing it across the world. He goes, Brad, you don't remember, but when I was 19, I was at your seminar on the Sunshine Coast in Australia. And damn, I do feel old some days but Daniel's oversubscribed. You don't want to start a business or launch it until you've got a waiting list that's ready to go. So market your waiting list, and from your waiting list, then offer people the ability to buy.
Yeah. Did you always have faith that you'll be successful?
I always had faith that I would work hard and learn enough to be successful. So it's not faith.
So
when
the
you know
end,
you're going to work and learn.
Not the specifications, right? Not the actual strategies, but
the
overall
strategies have to keep changing.
Yeah. So underlying belief or faith, did you feel like you're going to make it, man? I'm going to make this happen. Do you have that?
I'm going to keep going until I do, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Blind faith is crazy. Faith that
faith understanding is
do
different.
The work. Faith that you'll do the work and that you'll read the books and do the study. Like the ActionCOACH is now 31 years old. We're on our 4th version of the business, if that makes sense. Now, the core of what we do has stayed similar, being we started out as a small business training and then added coaching. Then we became really a small business coaching. Now we're a coaching company. We coach CEOs, corporations, executives. We coach in marketing. We coach in sales. But we're a coaching and training company. Coaching, when I sat down and looked at it, the coaching industry is a $26 billion a year industry right now, and it's growing by anywhere from 11 to 19%, depending upon the study you look at. And the training industry is $437 billion. So why would I stay in just a $26 billion industry when I can also take a share of a $430 billion industry? So we're on our fourth ramification now of how the business has evolved.
Definitely. It keeps evolving. Do you invest in real estate?
Do I invest in real estate? Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So would you be open to looking at multifamily and bigger projects?
We stick with our niche. Over the years, I've done everything from very small apartments to single family homes, to then I was buying single family homes on large lots, knocking down the home, building apartment buildings. And I've still got one piece of land that I'm trying to do a development on down in Australia. I got koala'd, which means they thought there was a koala on the property. So it's taken another 4 years on that one. But mostly what we do today is medical suites. We know them.
Okay.
We're good at them. We know how to do them. We know once you pick your
Yeah, it's your niche. Yeah.
and I think
I
that's
get
the
it.
thing. A lot of people try and do too many things and wonder why they're no good. But I love my niche. I watch where they build new hospitals. Every time I see a new hospital being built, I'm looking around that new hospital, dude, because what do I know is going to be around a new hospital? Doctors having their offices.
Medical offices. Yes.
They love paying their bills. They're great at security. They are just wonderful tenants. They want long terms. Love it.
Yeah, it's true. And rent increased is not a big problem at times.
Hey, look, I'm not one of these guys that wants to massively increase my rent all the time. If I've got a good tenant who wants to be with me for 20 and 30 years, they're paying off my mortgage, dude. And as long as it's paying my mortgage
keep them happy.
this is what annoys me about real estate investors. They seem to, it's all about the growth. You know what? For me, it's all about the 400% return. I put in 20%, someone else pays 80%, 20 years down, that's a 400% return. Anything above that is just pure gravy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know?
There's so many different angles to earning on real estate, and to have that open view is very important.
There's also a big difference between being an investor and being in the business of real estate. I know a lot of guys who are in the business of real estate. They're trading, they're buying and flipping and fixing, they're buying and adding value. I'm not. I buy it, I let it sit, they pay me rent.
Buy and hold. You're into buy and hold. Okay.
I run my business so that my business funds my deposits. So think about this strategy, right? And this is something I was taught very young. Very simple strategy. My job in my business is to produce a deposit every X period of time. And in the beginning, it was like, okay, I want a deposit for a real estate house, for one house, a single family home every 2.5 years. That was where I started out. Then I got to every year. Then I got to every 6 months. Then I got to every month. And then I had to upgrade and go to bigger properties because I just couldn't do that much. And so I keep looking at it every year. How many deposits do I want to create out of my business? That's really the theory. So my business money goes into investing, and my investment money pays for my life. So I have beautiful cars, but to own a car, I don't
name some cars you have.
I have a Rolls-Royce drop-head Phantom, one of the original 200 that came in the Rolls-Royce blue with the brushed stainless steel hood. 80 of them came to America. One came to Las Vegas.
Beautiful.
I paid a lot over sticker for it, but I had to. It was me versus Sylvester Stallone trying to buy that car.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And you won.
I got it because I said to Dan, who owned the dealership, I said, Dan, if you sell it to him, it's going to California. You sell it to me, it's staying in Vegas. I'll drive it around. It'll be in valets here. People will see it and they'll go, damn, I want to own a Rolls-Royce one day. And so therefore I got the deal. But instead of buying the car, though, I went and bought a restaurant that made the profit to pay for the car. So that's where I talk about churn before you burn.
Yes.
Invest in a building that pays for the car.
Strategy.
Invest in a business that pays for the car. If you want to buy a boat, what business is going to buy you that boat? And I've taught a lot of people over the years. I got 2 friends in Australia that I know that one of them has a fancy sports car rental business because he loved fancy sports cars. And I said, well, you better find a way to make money. In fact, one of my students in the UK told me just a couple of weeks back, he has a beautiful Bentley, and his accountant saying, how are we going to write this off? He said, I'll buy another one. We'll have a wedding car business. So now he has 2 Bentleys and a wedding car business.
You can even rent it out right on the side. So 2 or 3 weekends, a few days in a month.
You've got to do a little
there's
bit more
respectable places that'll take care of your car because they have the regular clientele. Like
if you do a little bit more than that and you go to the thing, like the same daughter I mentioned, she's now building our wedding car business. My wife has a beautiful old 64 Lincoln Continental convertible. And so we can do those sorts of things as convertible wedding cars, and she can build that business. I'll keep buying the cars if she wants to keep running the business. But
love it. Brad, man, it's been amazing talking to you, brother. Like, honestly, I think if we met in person, we will hit it off. But we still hit it off, I think. We're good.
I love your energy. I love your energy of the podcast. I love what you're doing for people out there. The fact that you're keeping education in the forefront of people's minds. So
thank you
keep learning
so much.
if you want to keep learning.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Definitely keep in touch. And audience, thank you so much for joining us once again. Definitely check out Brad and comment on the video. If you're YouTube, ask a question. We'll definitely make sure Brad sees it. He's part of the family now. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone in the audience. And thank you, my new friend, Brad.
Thanks, buddy.